All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Hawakah Kodash. I double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to Yakim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. And as you see the title of this lesson, invest, 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 right? So, matter of fact, before I even grab this precept, let's go into this word invest and what it means. It says to invest, to clothe in the official robes of an office. Sheesh. Call on Yabashim Shai, right? Because it's spiritual. I'll get back to that. Let's get the meaning. It says the meaning: use money to produce profit, um, to clothe with attributes, to dress. Man, that's heavy. Investiture, ceremony of clothing in the insignia of office. Right? We understand it says to clothe in the official robes of an office. Well, guess what? By us, let's get another definition of the word invest. It says invest, to expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting it into financial plans, shares, or properties, or by using it to develop a commercial venture, to provide or endow someone or something with a particular quality or attribute, right? And that's the word invest, to commit money in order to earn a financial return, right? So when we go to the book of Matthew, the 6th chapter, and it tells us, 19 verse, it says, lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart or your mind be also, man. Right? So, here we understand, though we have to live upon, this earth, right? And we're not to get caught up in the what? In the daily life of you know, of being a quote unquote citizen of America, man. Right? Our purpose and our duty is not to, chase the bag, but rather to heap up wisdom, right? As the scripture says in Isaiah 33 and 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and the strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is his treasure, right? So we're not here to store up riches upon earth, man. You know, you collecting a bag, or some type of financial gain to leave for your posterity, man. Now if you have some set up for your kids, that don't make you wicked, but you also understand, that here, your duty and your position of service is not to what you call it, is not to focus here on your profession, man. We have a duty as far as pleasing the Lord, man. Right? That don't mean brothers out here, being unemployed and not working and not taking care of their priorities. But we don't look forward to 5 to 10 years down the line, man. No, the glory in which we're seeking, is ultimately a name written in heaven, man, to be written in the Lamb's book of life, so that Yahweh Shah may crown us, man. That's where our treasure actually lies. And that's why the scripture says, but lay up for your treasures in heaven, for lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Right? Because you have a lot of men and women, of our nation, who are so focused on, being quote unquote career driven and getting 6 figures and doing this and buying land and even Jacob within the circumcision. But they're spiritually empty. Their spiritual bank account is negative, man. Complete negative. So what are you going to do when the economy crash? Right? Because according to the financial plan that Yahweh Shema Shah has for our lives, right? And we plan on cashing out, man, through the spirit, right? And the Lord is going to take care of his chosen, man. Lord willing, we be those men, right? Because we're fighting to be in that position, right? It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, right? If your mind is only on obtaining, material gain, possessions like big cars or nice houses, and you're not focused on the kingdom, you're not focused on the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy, all of that means absolutely nothing. The scripture says, woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation, man. Just as the scripture tells us, it is easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom, man. Why? Because those rich individuals aren't willing to give up their lives on this side, and to be abased, right, and be servants of Yahweh Bashim Shai. See, ultimately, in the Lord's company, right, we're servants, man. We're employees. But he set up a financial plan for us enduring, and working on this field, that will receive, immortality, man. It's the greatest retirement plan that any company, could ever establish, man. Right here it is. He's telling you, hey, you invest in my field, in my ministry, right, for my purpose, right? Because what are some key factors in investing? You understand that every investment is essentially a risk, right? And in these risks, you could either decide to hold strong throughout these risks or pull out. And we understand the scripture speaks about those who have taken their hands off the plow and looking back. The scripture tells us they're not fit for the kingdom, man. Right? But those that labor, go through the toil, go through the hells, right? Endure through that period of uneasiness, right? Ultimately, Yahweh Shai is saying, hey, the you being all in, putting all your chips on him, betting on him and going through the hardships, guess what? He's going to make you a joint heir or a CEO in his company, man. And there's no such retirement plan like that in the world, right? I asked ChatGPT, how many jobs / careers allow employees to become fully retired, gives them houses, all expense paid for life. And that doesn't even, capture, all the benefits of the kingdom, right? Immortality isn't on this list, right? And you also don't have spiritual power on this list. You don't have servants and slaves on this list, right? These are just a few of the things in which Yahweh Shai is going to give those whom, stick it through, man, whose names were written in the Lamb's Book of Life, man, right? Who made it through great tribulation and were faithful, even if it meant through death, right? It says blunt truth. And it says almost no modern jobs, but the truth is it's no modern jobs who fully retire you and give you a house with all expense paid for, at least not in a clean guarantee way people imagine, meaning what? Esau will always have stipulations on it, right? That model mostly belonged to empires, monarchies, or very tight institutions with lifelong loyalty contracts. And ultimately, the next empire to reign is who? Yahweh and Yahweh Shai's, man, right? The tabernacle of David, right? That's the next empire to reign, man. As the scripture said, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And you have a world of Jake that's about to rule, man. So ultimately, it's a lifelong contract starting from the very beginning and going back into the Alahayim. Those same spirits, those same individuals that invested going back here, right? Those that are invested, those that were clothed in the official robes of an office, which is what a government, right? To be clothed, to be properly dressed, as the scripture speaks about what? The parable of the wedding, right? These are going to be the individuals who are able to what? Receive the benefits of investing and working for Yahweh Bashim Shai, man, right? So let's grab another benefit of the kingdom, right? A benefit of the prize. This is John 14:2. And it reads, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And that's Yahweh Shai speaking. Matter of fact, let's get it. Red letter. It says, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, right? And he's not physically with us, but he's coming back to physically redeem us, right? Says, and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know, right? And that's the point. Hey, Yahweh Shai said, I go to prepare a place for you. So guess what? When it's time to leave out of this place, hey, the mansions, the worlds, right? The planets, the galaxies in which Yahweh Shai said he was going to prepare for us, hey, they're already ready, man. Right? These are the same men in his company that are going to receive these things, man. Hey, gotta mention the women too, because guess what? Though the women won't be on the governing body, right? Won't be in the governing the government, you know, they'll be in a position in which they'll never have to work again, in which they'll be what's the word? Immortal, right? Where their bodies will be changed, where they'll have servants, handmaids, slaves, where they'll be producing, or where there'll be incubators, I should say, for the babies, right? Well, they'll never have to worry again either, right? So he's going to prepare a place for us, man, for us being diligent, for us, as the scripture says, well, I gotta grab it, Salah. The scripture speaks about partakers of the sufferings, but also being partakers of what? Let's grab it. This is coming from the book of Salakia, 1 Peter 4. And I'll start here at verse 12. It says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, right? Because we understand we have to go through hell to obtain this. But nevertheless, hey, it's all going to be worth it, man, right? And also understanding that as employees, hey, you've been fucking up on the job, man, right? Ultimately, Yahweh Shema Shai has lost money, so to speak, putting this in business terms, right? Has lost money, by his employees going off, right? And not just in this life or this business, the previous businesses, man, right? So he's now giving us the chance, to work to where we can pay back our debts unto him. It says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice in as much as you are partakers of Yahweh Shai's suffering, right? We're going through this investment or this journey with him, right? And guess what? He went through it first, right? He already got his payout. He got his payout when he went through his hardship, died on the cross, right? And was risen, right? And got what? His heavenly body and an exalted name. Because what did that do? It also gave us reconciliation back unto Yahweh, man. It says that when it's like, in as much as you are partakers of Yahweh Shai's suffering, right? Because we all have to carry that cross and that burden as well. It says that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If you be if you be reproached for the name of Yahweh Shai, happy are ye. For the spirit of glory and of power Yahweh resteth upon you. On their part his evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. But that was the point. 13 it says, inasmuch as ye are partakers of his sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, when he returns, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy, because he's going to share forth, as he said, and if heirs, joint heirs, right? So being that we stayed loyal, right? It will receive the benefits as well. It's coming from the book of Matthew 9 and 37. And it reads, Then he said unto his disciples, the harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few. Right? And here we are bidding unto that marriage, right? Telling Jake, come join the business, man. Look at all the benefits of entering into this contract, right? Into entering into this relationship, right? Hey, and the scriptures tell you, Isaiah 58:1, what? Cry ye aloud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Show my people their transgressions, in the house of Jacob their sins. But we're telling Jake, hey, this, though the hells, hey, because we have to give them the full skinny, according as to what the contract entails, right? We understand we're going to be persecuted, we're going to be defamed, we're going to be entreated, but we're going to be protected, you know? We're going to be watched over. The hedge is going to remain. We're going to be saved. We're going to be fed in a time of famine. We're going to have the light in the time of darkness. These are all the benefits of what? Of staying faithful unto Yahweh Shema Shai through the rough times of this job, so to speak, man. Right? It says, pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest, man. And the scriptures tell us this. This is Hebrews 6:10. For Yahweh is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end, that ye be not slothful, and you can't be sleeping on the job, and you can't just be hiding those talents, as the parable speaks. You got to flip them, man. Make do on the Lord's money. It says, but followers of them through faith and patience inherit the promises, man. Because when he returns, if you not on that job, if you weren't a hired servant, hey, he's going to destroy you. His company is about to take over the world. It's about to take over the world, man. You know, you always hear the seminars on in different ads about, oh yeah, this company is next to blow up. You know, they have the best market strategies. You know, they have the strongest CEOs, right? Well, the truth is, Yahweh Shema Shai has that blueprint in which this company is about to take over, man. This government is about to rule. And our CEO, our boss, is about to take over Esau's company, man. Because right now, Esau is winning, man. In the sense of speaking of the elites, the globalists, right? Rockefellers, DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers, Rothschild, so forth and so on, right? The Lord ultimately gave them this appointed time to rule. But guess what? As the scripture says in the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter, that stone cut without hands, right, being thrown at that image, Yahweh Shema Shai is about to show Esau, hey, who really the boss, man? Who's really the power, right? Continuing, there's another precept, 2 Timothy 2, because we spoke about not being slothful, but being diligent, where the scripture tells us, study, 2 Timothy 2:15, study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Right? When you read in 15 NLT, it says, work hard so you can present yourself to Yahweh and receive his approval, right? The Lord is he makes sure that his workers, you know, are actually working, man. And you can't call yourself a servant and be slack on the job, because he's not slack on his promises, right? So you got to meet with that same energy, man. It says, work hard so you can present yourself to Yahweh and receive his approval. Be a good worker, one who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly explains the word of truth. Meaning what? You actually know your job. You know, you're studying that handbook, right? The schoolmaster, man. And you know where the answers are. You're abiding by the rules outside of work, so to speak, right? This is what Yahweh Shema Shai requires for you to receive what? That prize, man. For you to receive that prize. Matter of fact, I got another precept. Yep. I'm going to end off in that. Ooh, it needs to slacking. This is coming from the book of Hebrews, the 4th chapter. And I'll start here at 2. It says, for unto us was the gospel preached as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. For we which have believed do enter into rest, as he said, as I have sworn in my wrath, that they shall enter into my rest, although the works were finished from the foundation of the world. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and Yahweh did rest the seventh day from all his works, right? And actually the Alahayim, right? Because we understand, going back into the book of Genesis, is speaking of the Shabbat or the Sabbath, right? In which no work was done. It says, in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached enter not in because of unbelief. Again, he limiteth a certain day, saying in David, today after so long a time, as it is said, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahushua had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day? There remaineth a rest, it's like there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh Shai, right? And that place will be opened unto us, and once we finish our course and get beamed up out of here, man, by the chariots from the thermonuclear destruction. It says, for he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own works, as the power did from his. Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, right? So in order to receive that prize, you have to labor or work. The word is spudazzo, G4704, and it says to what? To do diligence, to be diligent or give diligence, to labor and study, because these things are required of us, man, right? And ultimately, in laboring and studying, the Lord is allowing you to be built up in the spirit, right? To exert oneself, right? By what? Energy, conduct, endeavor, to give diligence, right? To labor and to study. Let's see if there's any more. That's the point. So let me get back to it. It says, let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief, right? So we're laboring to enter into that peace, into that rest, man, ultimately to receive that prize. And this is my favorite precept, man. My favorite precept in the scriptures. Revelation 21:4, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to start at the top. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, right? Going back into this word vest or in vestiger, right? It says investiture, ceremony of clothing in the insignia of office, right? The government, right? And ultimately what? Being crowned, having their white robes, as the scripture says in the book of Second Esdras. And it said, who is this one with larger in stature than the others? We're speaking of Yahweh Shai, right? It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Right? And this is speaking about after the elect are caught up into the chariot, and we look down, Lord willing, we be those men, and we see what? The sea of glass, right? Which is speaking of the burning of Babylon the Great, America, right? Thus saith the scriptures, right? Coming back down upon the earth. This is the event is speaking of. It says, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, right? Because, after a work gets stressful, it beats you down, and you got all different types of stories of hell from work. But ultimately, we understand that's going into, the trying of the elect, the persecution, Jacob's trouble, pestilence, great evils that Yahweh Shemashah has brought upon the earth, right? These are the men who made it through, whom Yahweh Shemashah allowed to make through all of that to be saved, right? And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away, man. Hence, life is now the picture, right? Here in these chains of darkness, hey, we're living, but we're dead, man. Right? As the scripture says, the spirit that quickeneth, right? Hey, your body is old, right? Or breaking down. You know, you're dealing with all different types of ailments. You're fighting, battling demons. Hey, but in this retirement plan, all that is going to be wiped away, man. To the point where you'll be able to live. You'll actually be able to breathe, to rest from those labors. That's why we look at people who don't want to work for Yahweh Shemel Shah crazy. Ultimately, we understand, hey, the spirit isn't in them to work for him. Hey, but any other way you think is going to work is going to fail. It's going to fail, man. We're looking for the former things to be passed away. We're looking for a heaven and earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. Because this place here fucking sucks. All types of manner of wickedness, right? Vanity. And we hear day by day praying for Yahweh Shemel Shah. It's like it for Yahweh to send Yahweh Shah down, man. You know? And it's going to happen, man. And we're fully invested. We're fully invested, man. Hey, so that was the point. You know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the body. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah HaKodash. A double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone. And a sincere shalom to you, Aki, in bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.